Hey folks, welcome back to the Real Men of Real Estate here on KCAA Radio. My name is Dan Redig. I'm here with Michael Cormier talking about his foray into real estate and how he became a creative investor using wholesaling. So if you missed what wholesaling is, we talked about the last couple segments, and you can hear this playback on any podcast platforms. You can also find Real Men of Real Estate on Roku, and it also streams from kcaaradio.com. So with that, you're in the game now, Michael. You've learned a lot about what's going on. The market here is tough in the Southwest. What happened next? You're trying to find something, a way to some way to kind of beat through this obstacle. What happened?
What I did next after getting punched in the face, as I like to say,
oh man,
by the typical San Diegan, selling their house and kind of realizing that everyone pretty much wants market value for their house, no matter what I
no matter what the condition is.
No matter what the condition was. And as I was towards my end and I was running out of money, and I realized that, okay, I need to get around like-minded people.
Okay. Find your tribe.
Yeah. And this is probably, I could say, out of a lot of things that my mentor at the time said, the biggest thing he told me was, he was like, go to AREA. And I was like, what the heck is AREA?
So what is AREA?
AREA, your real estate. I could actually tell you the whole details on what it stands for, but it's just a place where people talk about your investors in real estate, and they just get together.
People are doing creative strategies, though. This is not for realtors, generally speaking, although they're welcome and they do come and do deals with us.
Yes.
All right.
And I could just laugh about it, because I remember I was just like, what's AREA? He's like, well, check it out. I'm like, what's AREA? I don't know what it is. You're telling me to check something out that I don't know what it is. So he, as we were on our Zoom, brought me up and was like, hey, you need to come check out this AREA, which was SDCIA. I'm like, okay. So local San Diego Investors and Realtors Association. I was like, okay. I think I'd probably said that. I think it was Creative Investors Association.
Yes.
But I was like, okay, let's check it out. And I did this. I was like, oh wow, they actually have some good stuff here. There's people here. I don't even know what to do. And I realized that, as I seeing people and networking as they were talking, what was going on in the market, and I was like, oh wow, I need to come back. I was realizing I was running out of money. Actually, I was not running out of money. I was already out of money.
Oh no! Oh wow!
To pretty much do anything. And I was like, okay, well, I need to get into the room. I need to continue to get into the room and be around people. How do I go about this? As I was doing this, I remember in one of my personal development accountability calls that they said, hey, if you need to get into the room, you can always sweat equity.
Oh yeah, it works well.
So I was like, okay, well, you know what? I have nothing to lose at this point in time. Wow, I just go sweat equity. And I went the next RIA meeting that I went to. I was like, hey, do you guys need help? I'm here to pretty much, to do anything.
Right. I think I remember that actually.
Yeah.
I mean, that is where I met you.
Yeah. And, and luckily enough, this is the first time in how I met you. And you're like, yeah, sure, you can come help set up. And I was like, all right. I showed up, and then I started talking with more people. And as I was kind of on my process of still marketing on what little money that I had left and that I was borrowing from people to still market in San Diego, I ran into some pretty interesting people who saw me, and they were doing deals and so forth, and they would always ask me, Mike, how are you doing? I'm like, I'm getting punched in the face. Can't get a deal. They
Yeah.
kind of laugh, and they're just like, yeah, I understand your struggle.
Was
And
this Steve and Mike?
yes, this was actually now, which my partners, Steve and Mike,
Yeah.
on
Okay. They're good
at the
guys.
time.
Yeah.
At the time, they were kind of telling me like, yeah, we got this guy, we're doing a deal, and I don't know why he thought he could try to take this money and run. We have, we've already signed all the contracts and agreements, and this guy's just trying to take the
Right.
money and run for whatever reason.
Okay.
Um, but so what I was kind of getting back to what I was doing. So I just started networking with people and asking them, okay, what are you doing?
Hmm.
What are you doing? And so forth, because
Talking about what strategies they're using, maybe what's working, what's not working.
yeah, what's working, what's not working. How are you getting punched in the mouth where it's,
It's a hard thing to get over, it turns out.
yeah, if they say as everyone has a plan until you get hit in the mouth, and then now you're
Yeah.
just trying to figure out what's going on.
Right.
Um, but as navigating that aspect, people started talking about different different strategies,
Yeah. Okay.
and they kind of really went into, some people were talking about doing creative deals as far as like owner finance and seller finance.
Mm.
And I was like, okay, I understand it, but I don't really fully understand it.
Okay. So what'd you get into then? What did you learn?
What I learned is there's definitely multiple ways of getting a deal done.
Okay.
If you have one, if you're just a one trick show, then that's not always going to work with every single person that you come across.
Right. You have to be able to solve their problems. Right.
You know, if all you do is, hey, I can get this under contract and or assignment, and it's going to be a flip, and if you look at everything as a flip, then you're going to miss the opportunity for a buy and hold.
I gotcha.
Or is, hey, we're willing to sell, but we really don't need the money.
Mm.
Um,
So maybe get some seller financing on that and ease their tax burden.
we really don't need the money all up front, and
Right.
especially depending on where you are, some people understand uh, capital gains, and they realize like, hey, I don't want Uncle Sam, putting his hands and taking a lot out of my capital gains. And then you
Gotcha.
realize as doing a creative way, you can spread out the capital gains.
Okay.
That way, Uncle Sam is really not taking a whole lot. And it's like, oh,
Right.
fine. But again, that doesn't work with everyone's situation,
Sure.
because you have
Just
to
a couple
figure,
examples on kind of what you can do.
yeah, because you never know on as far as like, hey, do they actually have a place to go to? That strategy may work, but if they don't have a place where they're going to stay, then
Mm-hmm.
it may not work out.
Right. Right. So you settled into this. It sounds like you found some people to partner with, and so working with these guys, you may manage to get yourself some leads, or what else was going on?
So after my end road of wholesaling, where I couldn't get a deal, and yeah, pretty much couldn't get a deal,
Yeah.
I ran into a guy named Steve, our partner Steve, and he just said, "Hey, I see what you're doing. Why don't you come work for us?" Being you're pretty much doing the same thing that you're doing already. If it works out, put some money in your pocket. If not, then hey, no worries. And I worked with them and realized that the solution to all my problems was very simple. I just needed to do a little bit of tuning on changing the tone of my voice,
Uh-huh.
how I got it, or
Yep.
changing the tone, how I would approach, and realize is like, hey, some people have a problem. You should what it is, what is their problem, and how can you solve
Right. It's all about them.
it? And once I've kind of figured that out, within just a couple months of doing some fine changes and tunes to myself, then I was able to get deals.
Got it.
And then deals kind of just started coming one after another.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized, like, wow,
that was kind of this summer then when you got all that working.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And deals started flowing. Now I'm having the problem is I can't talk to enough people. And I kind of laugh back as laughing back now, 2 years later, it's just, wow, I couldn't get people to talk to me. And now I can't talk to enough people.
That's a great problem. Congratulations. Good for you.
So
you've got a system that works. You've figured out who you want to be in this world and how to kind of make it work, and you're on your way. It's kind of,
yes,
you're kind of there. This is great.
Yeah, one day at a time, and
Yep.
sky's the limit, and I plan on pushing it as much as possible.
All right. Well, we're going to get ready for another station break here in a second, but when we come back, we'll talk a little bit about kind of how you got over some of those hurdles and some of that personal development that it took to really tackle this stuff. So that's great. I love your story. It's awesome to hear some of the details I hadn't heard yet. So thanks so much. Folks, this is The Real Men of Real Estate on KCAA Radio, and we'll be back after these messages. Thanks for listening.